Oh, and we're
All right.
live.
Hello. Welcome everybody to the We Only Do One Take podcast. It's the only podcast on earth that is a complete shit show. My name is Turch, and with me is my co-host, the CEO, the groomsman that always got me a beer on the night. It's Kieran. How you doing, buddy?
Slightly hungover today.
I
But
feel
yes, I
slightly
I had a
hungover.
very important task last night at your engagement party of always making sure that you had a beer. And I
It was
think
very good.
I
It was much
90%
needed.
succeeded.
I think so. And with us today, we've had him on the show before, but we had to have him back. It's been over a year, believe it or not, since we've had him on the show. Just on a year, I believe. It is Amog, and he runs his own podcast. Amog, welcome to the show.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much, Church and Kiran, for inviting me. Again, it's
Oh,
an
no,
honor to be on your show.
mate, it's a pleasure to
Oh,
have
thanks,
you.
Yeah.
It's
Mo.
so good
We,
to have
we
you.
we had so much fun with you last time.
Yeah, we learned a
Like, it was
lot.
all
That's
just
good to
awesome.
hear.
And we thought to ourselves, you know what? We've been discussing in the background for a while about all your other stuff and this and that. We've been doing some live streams like this for a little bit, and we figured, you know what? Let's get you back on the show. Let's talk to you. Let's let everyone else see the presentation that you showed us, and we can go from there and learn all about the flat Earth from your perspective there. But first of all, Mo, why don't you tell us a little bit about your own podcast? I know that's how I found you and where you're from, a little bit of background of yourself, and then we'll go into the flat Earth discussion. It looks like we've got a bit of a crowd building up, so that's really good, and hopefully they've got some questions as well.
Okay, sure. So my podcast is called Flat Earth Research. It's a very generic name because I didn't want to have anything else apart from that. And my only intention is to present evidence and research that I have come across in the past few years. So it's been like around 3 years now since I launched the podcast, but I haven't really been actively working on it. So let's hope that this changes things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, a bit about my background. I'm just like you guys. I mean, just like everyone else, I thought the world was a globe. I thought it was spherical, and then I came across these words on the internet that said flat Earth, and it really changed my perspective. So ever since then, I started doing a little bit more research. I've tried to keep an open mind with this, maybe. And also, I want to give a disclaimer. I'm still open to the idea that the Earth may be a globe. So
Fantastic.
it's like it's not that I'm saying this is the truth. I'm open to any sort of interpretation, but what I want to bring to the table is that there is more evidence, and it is repeatable. It is demonstrable that the Earth beneath us is indeed flat and it does not move. So that's where I landed at, and I know that sounds ridiculous to you guys. I know that on the surface that all of that may seem really out there and far-fetched, but hopefully by the end of this presentation you might maybe think otherwise. I'm not trying to change anyone's minds. Again, don't believe anything that I say. Always do your own research.
Mm,
That's all.
fantastic. Well, I know last time you had a really big presentation when we were talking via Skype last time, but like I said, we thought we'd get you on the show and have you present yourself all on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So let me just get your presentation on screen and we can talk. And I'm sure questions will be filtered in. I've had a few friends already message me in private some of the what do you call it, the questions that they would like to ask. But let's start right
Okay.
from the beginning on your end there, and we'll go from there. Let me just add this to the stream here. You're oh, and of course
Oh, there we
everything's
go.
nice and slow. Something's coming up.
Oh,
I hope you
nah,
can see
try
my
again.
screen.
Oh,
So can you guys see? You just
there we go. It's coming up now, which is really good. Oh no, lost it again. Okay, but it's coming up right now. I swear.
Anyway, I'll have the links to all of these videos in the description, maybe, or in the comments, so people can have a fair look at it and have an unbiased perspective, if that's okay.
Beautiful.
That's what
Okay, so can you
Alrighty,
guys
here we
see
go.
this?
We can see this.
It's coming up once. I think my StreamYard's just. I'm gonna try and refresh it on my end, and we'll go from there. But can you see it yet, Kieran?
Yeah, I can see it now. I can't see it now. It's gone.
Oh, one sec. Yeah.
It's like magic, you know. It's there and then it's gone.
Oh, that sucks.
Hi, everyone in YouTube land. Oh no, now Church is gone. Technology. I'd love to be able to control all the buttons, but Church hasn't given me permission. Oh, here we go. You're back, Church.
You can
Back.
just let me know.
Apologies. Something.
Works, yeah.
Everything decided to crash on me at once. I thought, let's just quickly try and reset something. But it looks like we've got something coming up on the screen, which is very exciting.
Oh, I can see something on the screen.
Excellent. All right.
So can you guys see this?
Absolutely.
Rodrigo. Oh no, Church is killed. Yeah.
Okay, so I should.
Sap as well. Thank you so much, Sap here. All right, so what are we looking at here, Amon?
Yeah. So I showed you this video last time on the stream where you could see clearly. So just to give a background, what this is a camera on a high altitude balloon. So what is the high altitude balloon? It's a sophisticated balloon that goes really high up into space. And I think this one goes up to around 135,000 feet in the sky, right? So what these guys did was they put a camera on these balloons. And what does NASA say? You should be able to see the curvature at around 60,000 feet. So if you're you can see the elevation on the right here. So if you're at an altitude of over 100,000 feet, you must absolutely be able to see at least some sort of curvature, right? But what we see here is otherwise. We see that the horizon always lines up to eye level. It always rises to our eyes. And what does that mean? That means the ground underneath is indeed flat.
So
did you guys get
high up? So this is how high up again, you said? Is that right there, 72,000 feet in the air?
Church and Kieran?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, so I didn't quite get it. What do you mean by?
So last time I noticed that Kieran or someone. When I say eye level, let me just pause at this one frame here. So when I say eye level, it means it always comes up to your eye like this. Like you see that it's rising up to your eye, like it's the horizon, and you can see that it's straight here, parallel to the YouTube thing. That's what I mean by it always rises up to eye level. If the Earth was indeed a globe, you would not see this kind of image. You would see that you would have to look downwards to see more of the curvature. But you don't have to look downwards because the land below is always rising up to the eye level at the horizon. So this is a good. I'm not saying this is conclusive proof or anything, but you can always take this at face value. This is a legitimate camera. This isn't by any a space agency or anything like that. These are independent researchers. They put cameras on top of high altitude balloons, and it goes really high. And I noticed, I think one of you guys had an objection last time. How do we know it's actually that high? I think one of you said that. And there is an altimeter on this balloon. So an altimeter records exactly how high you are. So that is proof that it's actually at this current elevation. So NASA says that you must be able to see curvature at least from 60,000 feet. And we have almost doubled that distance, and we see absolutely no curvature. So to me, in my eyes, this is video evidence of our glorious flat Earth.
So I'm just reading up here, just making sure that what you're saying is correct. And yes, absolutely, I agree with you. That's what NASA says about 35,000 feet. It looks like that you need to be above the Earth to start seeing some of the curvature. But there are two factors here that I can't say that we're seeing here. And one of them is that you also need a field of vision of 60 degrees. And I'm not sure we're seeing that. And I don't know how, if you can prove that or not, or whatever it is. And the second thing we need to see is a virtually cloud-free horizon. And in my opinion, this video is not showing a cloud-free horizon. But I may be wrong. What do you have to say about those two items there?
Right. The field of view around 60 degrees, that really depends on the kind of camera and the lens that you have on the device. So I think here we've fairly captured enough field of view for us to actually be seeing some sort of curvature, but maybe I'm wrong. Secondly, yeah, I think there is some sort of cloud cover here. There are multiple videos of other videos where there's like kind of lesser cloud coverage where you can see more of the land. So saying that you can't really see cloud cover is maybe just for this one video, but there's like hundreds of other videos where you can see clearly that the horizon.
Can you bring up one of the other videos? Because I want to know why this video is shaky as well.
That's enough.
Sure.
I was actually going to say, if I was to look at this video and no one said to me that anything about flat Earth or anything like that, I would say just looking at the video itself, even at some of the better frames where you're trying to show the eye level, I think that's what you mean by that, where it's very still. The center part of that video is actually higher than some of the edges of this video.
Right, that's because of the lens. That's because of the lens refracting the light.
So even so this is an
okay. Maybe
conspiracy.
Maybe I can pull up another video.
Yes, certainly. I'm just going to say. So now you're talking about an additional conspiracy. So every single, no matter what camera we use, across the board, every single camera company from Canon to Nikon, all that sort of stuff, have somehow been in cahoots in some sort of magical way that if any camera was up there, it would always show some sort of
it's just that
curvature.
No, if you use a fisheye lens, you will see some sort of curvature. If you use a lens corrector after the video's processed, you will see that it comes up to like completely flat. So I'm not saying that all these camera companies are in cahoots with them. I'm saying it's just a simple trick that they show you in order to present a different distorted view of the world when there's actually no curvature that is there.
So
right. So
lens correction is a post type of trick for certain things, and
yeah,
we'll never get it to the point of completely flat across the board. Number one, and number two, this camera here. What camera are you showing us? And has any correction been put over the top of it? Because in this case here, I think that the Earth is curved. For me, and does that mean you're saying that this camera or footage, however it is,
has a fisheye lens?
Has had. So this is a fisheye lens.
Yeah, because so why they use fisheye lens is to get as much of the field of view as you can, right? So you want as much light coming through the lens. So how you do that is you distort the edges so it kind of looks like it's curved, so you can get more land in the frame. Right. So it's in order to capture more of the view, we use a fisheye lens, but you can always see that sometimes when you use the corrector, which is a post-processing video technique, as you said, there has to be at least some sort of curvature that is evident. And we're talking about the elevation here is around 100,000 feet, keep in mind. So we should be looking at a lot of curvature, after the lens.
Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Where
it looks like it's 73,000 feet.
73,000 feet. We're talking.
It goes up higher.
Overcorrection there. But
it goes up higher. I haven't shown the whole video to you.
Okay. Let's go from there. loading up there, obviously.
You fix those things. Here you can see it goes up even higher, and there's the sun.
Rodrigo says, semi off topic. Are we able to see a 360 degree view of this? I would also like to know. So it starts at 70,000, and so now we're up at about 100,000.
See,
what's the highest?
I
can see curvature at about 100,000.
So why can I see curvature in this video here?
Well, that's just
despite the Sorry.
I just told you that's the distortion of the lens.
Right. Okay then.
Can you guys still hear me?
Lens? Yes, we can hear you. I'm just trying to think. Is there any lens out there that someone can purchase? So there's independent researchers, as you've said. Is there any lens that they can purchase, or anything in your opinion, from your knowledge? If not, that's absolutely fine. But is there any type of lens that they can purchase to attach to their camera that they will get a true view of the Earth when they do send a balloon up at this height?
Well, I would say anything that isn't intentionally curving the field of view we would do. So you can have any lens that isn't a fisheye lens, which is a convex lens. So you can use anything other than that, and you can get a clear picture of what it actually looks like.
Okay, then.
But most people go with the fisheye because it captures as much. Yeah.
So you're 100% sure. So in the video,
I'm not really sure, but the specifics of the lens and stuff.
Okay.
See,
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
I start to see some curvature right there.
But Emogi's saying that's because they're using a certain kind of lens.
Oh, right.
But he's not quite sure. From what I understand,
It's extremely easy to be. Yeah, go on.
You're not quite sure what lens they're using, but you're saying the curvature is being currently caused by the lens itself.
No, I'm pretty positive that they are using a fisheye lens here.
Okay, then. Okay.
That's why you can see bits of curvature on the side there.
Right. So if we take the video back
to
under 35,000 feet, we should still see curvature because it's a fisheye lens. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I can show you that maybe.
Please do, yeah.
When
please
they take
all the
off.
way back under like 20. Let's go 20,000 feet and let's see if there's curvature.
Because I was going to say, the higher you get, the more curvature you're going to see.
Correct.
And the lower you are, the less curvature you're going to see.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Seems really crappy.
That's okay, mate. That's okay. I think it's
curvature
as well.
Sure. Yeah, that's not true because that's. Yeah. Can you see this now?
It's just loading a little bit. It seems like it almost seems like it's too low.
Here you can see that.
Yep, sorry.
Okay, I can always send you guys the links of these videos and you can stream it yourself if that's better.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It'll be about the same across the board. That way you can choose the specific time codes and stuff like that. So here, I would say it is completely flat.
You can see some sort of curvature. There's lens curving that happens. It's not that we're seeing the curvature of the Earth. We're seeing the distortion from the lens. So as the lens is, moving in its orientation, you get different distortions. So you have to keep in mind that the balloon is also moving like rapidly, and the image stabilization goes only so far. So there are moments where you can see the curvature even at 3,000 feet. So there you can see it's a little bit of curve right there.
Okay, yeah, I can see a little bit of curvature there. Kieran, can you see the curvature as well there?
This is just one aspect of it. Usually people tell me that you should stop with this flat Earth stuff.
That's okay. Awesome. All right then. Well, this is a very interesting.
Yeah, you don't have to believe me that this is a fisheye lens. I think it's pretty evident.
Okay then. If it's a fisheye lens, then it's really hard for me to use this as a basis of evidence to say that the Earth is flat, because now the evidence from beginning to end is technically tainted. That's how I'm reading it anyway.
Yeah. Ditto. Is there any other video footage?
Oh, but it's not a problem when NASA or ISS use it, is it?
Yeah, but I don't think NASA used the video footage to say that the Earth is flat. I think they use mathematical equations to do that. So you're saying the evidence that you're providing is video.
No, I've had so many people that's come up to me and they say you should stop all of this flat Earth bullshit that you're doing because we have live video evidence from space of the Earth. And I go, please show me. I would love to see an actual photo of Earth from space. And they send me this NASA live stream video footage from the ISS supposedly, and it's clearly just a fisheye lens, and they're above the Earth's atmosphere, and then it's making it seem like the Earth is curved. And people see this and they go, that's conclusive evidence that the Earth is flat. I mean, the Earth is a sphere. But I respect your skepticism, and you're saying you can't use this evidence because it taints the actual thing. So
I'll continue on with the International Space Station. I think the reason maybe why they're going the International Space Station may be a good source of information when it comes to space, and obviously the what the Earth actually is in sort of being flat or round or whatever shape it may be, is because that's an international effort from multiple space organizations, both private and public, to learn more and more about space. And I think because of that reason, you've got Russia, China, Australia, America, and everything in between, obviously like SpaceX and a whole bunch of other companies, Virgin fly into space like that as well. All of those items and all of those individual places contribute to the International Space Station. And because of that, it's sort of seen as like a neutral sort of source of information, because there are so many interested parties, number one, but two, all of them are technically competing against each other, but they're able to agree on this.
So no, see, we talked about this last time as well, and you said, why would Russia and the United States, they're competing? Why, if the Earth is actually flat, Russia might as well just say that it's flat, and then they would win over the United States or whatever. You're still looking at this from a disconnected point of view. What flat Earth is really telling you, what flat Earth is really showing you is that all the space organizations in the world, all the so-called expert authorities on space, they are in on it. They're in on the deception, and they are having a continued maintained effort to make the public seem that the Earth is actually a globe, and they push all of this propaganda. They get billions and billions of dollars every year just to prove or brainwash the public into believing that they're actually, all their efforts is actually right, and they're actually going to space and all of that. But what I feel is that, or what Flat Earth shows you, is that all of these organizations, they're just in on the deception, right? It's not like,
why would they be on this deception?
Because they're hiding the true shape of our Earth. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Okay, let's go back again, because I just want to make sure there's sort of a timeline in my head. So at one stage in human history, we said, yep, the Earth is flat. Okay? And
right, what stage is that?
I would say up to, I think maybe, let's just say, make it very easy, and I can't remember the exact date or anything like that, but I know definitely at the Renaissance, the 1600s,
5,000 years plus.
Yeah, before
Let's say
so
that.
anything
Yeah.
prior to the Renaissance, which is like the 1600s, 1600s or so, we'll just say across the board, most of history, people thought the Earth was flat. Then the 1600s come along and they go, no, the Earth is round, is actually a sphere, and not even a perfect sphere. We know that it's sort of on a tilt because we watch the stars, and there's different stars in the northern hemisphere than there is in the southern hemisphere, and we know that we move around the sun, and we're round, and that's why one's half of the Earth is seeing the moon, and one half is seeing the sun. You can sort of see some overlap because of how the moon travels around, and they've decided, and then they've decided to keep that. So the conspiracy may or may not have started, and I don't know what your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear them. So the conspiracy, in my opinion, may have started in the 1600s with
Yeah, it
them
goes
saying
back
that the
before
Earth is
that.
round.
It goes way
Okay. Yeah, please.
So actually, the first person, recorded person to actually even propose that the Earth might be a sphere was supposedly Pythagoras back in the
Yes.
ancient Greeks. And then that idea never picked up because the people there were, they were firmly grounded in their scientific models. Ptolemy and all of these other astronomers, they had a perfect model of the universe based on a flat stationary Earth for thousands of years before these guys came along.
Can you show me that model? I would love to see that model. Or the model of the flat Earth that you believe in. That would be even better. Let's go with that one there. So obviously you believe in flat Earth, and there's a model that works in from your understanding, that everything that we experience as people and everything that we can monitor as people is 100% visible from the model. And it accounts for everything involved. Can we see that? That would be something. That's what I'm really interested in.
Sure, I had a video of that. I'm not sure where it went. Like, I was going to show you exactly how the flat Earth works. On the globe, like there's a nice representation. Let me pull that up.
That'd be great. See,
and if you've got more comments, chuck them in the YouTube chat.
That's right. We've got a few things here. Some.
Yeah, you had any more questions?
Yeah. So we've got off here. We've got we've got Daniel Revelado here saying that don't the fisheye lenses cause the upper half of the image to curve both upwards at the edges, just judging by 1990s, 2000s music video. And Redongo, sorry, is that it depends on the curvature of the lens. GoPros are probably the most used camera for this kind of research, and they've got fairly outrageous fisheye lens. Completely agree with that. And he's also said that we'd like to see a 360 view of Earth, like by Google Street View, but doing it from the space would be pretty amazing. I agree.
I think there is a 360 video. I don't have that right now.
And
but I can put it on the comments.
Damien here has said, "Where are the photographers of the interwebs? Couldn't this just be the lens?" I guess this is a bit of a while ago, talking about some of the stuff you were showing us there. So, so this conspiracy theory down like from Pythagoras. Why? What purpose would Pythagoras have? To one say that the Earth is definitely round. And what is the benefit of everyone else around him to suppress that idea?
So, you have to understand that Pythagoras is supposed to be the first Freemason, right? So he's supposed to be the founder of Freemasonry. And these guys had a plan for the world. They've had like a blueprint for exactly the world events that we're seeing happening. All of those things are planned by these people centuries ago. So they had a plan to deceive the public into believing that the Earth is actually not flat, and it is actually a spherical, some sort of sphere. And this fits perfectly into the Big Bang, model, Newtonian worldview that we're presented right now. So they wanted to take us away from flat Earth, which is like, without a shadow of a doubt, proves that there is indeed some sort of creator who made this sort of flat Earth thing with the dome and all of that. and they wanted to move us and disconnect us from that into a more a worldview where everything happens randomly, everything came out from the Big Bang, and the earth magically formed from all of these rocks. And so this is why they lied to us. It's because they want to push us all of these theories like evolution and heliocentrism, which is basically just glorified sun worship. So they want us to take us away from the fact that we can, with our own senses, feel and experience that the earth is actually flat and stationary. But they want to deceive us into believing that it's a globe somehow, and it's magically turning 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. And so this is very plausible only in the
Amog, you do this thing where you say so much, and I need to break some of that sort of items down for our fans. I think Kieran was like too. One of the first things you said was that Pythagoras was one of the first, if not the first Mason.
Allegedly, allegedly.
By who? Because the Freemasons, from my understanding of history, is the Freemasons basically started in the 13th to 14th century, and that's about 2,000 years or so after Pythagoras himself.
That's on the surface. You see, that's the exoteric. If you go deeper and if you go into the hidden connections and the origins of Freemasonry, some people point to Pythagoras. So,
right.
I mean, we're not going to debate on that. I mean, I don't know either. It's just
okay. So
speculation.
I want to take it back just a little bit. You also said that they've come up with these different sort of conspiracies, or they've jumped. They're wanting to tell the world that the Earth is round, even though it's they're saying it's flat. But back then, they would have been noticing things like the way the sun rises, and how as shipping has developed and captains are reporting that the stars are different in these different parts of the world. So they would be slowly putting those pieces together and building that evidence over time that the Earth is round rather than flat. So, and then they would have died, and then it would have been carried on by other people for 50 or so years, and then they would have died, and it would have been carried on for people. Life expectancy was quite short back then. So what conspiracies were they putting together or developing? I still don't understand why they want people to believe that it's round.
It's to hide the creator, as simple as that. It's to hide the fact that it's to hide the fact that you've been lied to your entire life before you could even conceptualize a thought.
So what do you mean? What do you mean by creator?
So let me tell you the implications of a flat Earth, okay? You don't have to believe it, but if the Earth is indeed flat and there is some sort of dome over us and all the heavens revolve around us, that puts us in the center of the universe. And actually, there is scientific evidence. I did touch upon this last episode, which is called the cosmic microwave background radiation. So these are remnants of the early universe, supposedly, and what they discovered is that it clearly lines up with the ecliptic of the sun. And what does that mean? That means the Earth is actually stationary and is the center of the universe. So if that's the implications of a flat Earth, so who put us here? Who made this, unique design, which is like a timepiece, and all the seasons and animals are perfectly designed? Who made this intelligent design? That's the ultimate question flat Earth is, trying to get at. But
there's two parts there. Number one, 99% of all animals have been extinct. So there's that argument. But then there's also I've missed the logic of this ecliptic lineup, and then how that equates to what you were saying, we're the center of the universe. Can you just go back and just step that out for me?
Sure. So it's, again, I told you, it's called the axis of evil in cosmology. So it's basically like it's a pattern that they found, which makes it seem that the Earth is actually the point of reference for all of the heavens. So basically, it's like you know, these radio waves that supposedly came out of the early universe, they measured all of that, and what they actually found out was that it lines with the ecliptic of the sun. What is the ecliptic of the sun? It means the motion of the sun, right? The
Okay,
motion of the sun.
so in your model of the flat Earth, the
Yeah.
sun moves.
Yeah, the sun is rotating over the flat stationary Earth, just
Right,
as how our senses perceive that.
Right. So can you show me, like I said, a flat Earth model that shows
Yeah,
the
I was going
sun
to pull that up.
That would be good. Yeah, that'd be good because that's something I want to talk about because I've got a lot of questions about that model in specifically that I've seen a number of things on, and for me that model doesn't work in a number of ways, and some ways it does as well. But I'd like to see how you understand or how you describe the motions of the Earth, or the motions of the sun, moon, and stars under that model itself, and how humans would perceive that.
Sure. If you could just imagine the Earth to be a solid, you know, plane, and you imagine the sun and moon to be these luminaries or lights in the sky that are actually moving about, there's really no problem in actually perceiving that on a flat Earth. Like, so can you see my screen right now?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this, again, this is just a model. We don't know if this is actually true or not, but in fact, we can make certain predictions, and those predictions are pretty.
It's more you believe that this is true. You've got a higher level of truth to this model than the level of truth that we have.
I mean, yeah, if you want to see it that way.
So show us. I think there's one there that says, what did it say? 90% of the membership. There's that one there. That is that close to the model that you think is truest.
I'm not going to say truest or anything, but it's just a working understanding of how the sun and moon might revolve around the Earth. So
Okay,
here,
so
it's supposed to be a GIF, but it's not working.
that's okay.
But
That's okay.
basically,
Look,
the sun isn't as far away and as big as they tell you it is. The sun
okay,
is
so
close and local, exactly where your eyes tell you it is, and it
Could you just make that
illuminates
full screen?
a local area of the Earth.
okay, so two questions then. How high is the sun, and how high is the moon?
Hey, Amul, can you just
We
make it
don't
full
know.
screen?
We don't know
Exactly.
that question. Some people say it's around like 3,000 miles or like 5,000 miles, but I honestly don't know. I have to preface it by saying most of these things are beyond our, you know,
But why don't we know?
because we haven't done those experiments, because we haven't tested it.
But what? So what do you say of all the experiments that we know that I don't know off the top of my head that we actually know how far the moon and the sun is away from Earth?
So to say
Those are based on mathematical models. So those are just values extrapolated from the math that they give you. So it's not really like an actual experiment they did. It's just that they plugged in the numbers from the math and then they said this is what it is.
Okay, so obviously
Well, you can't
don't
actually.
believe. Yeah, you don't obviously believe that we've been to the moon then, if that's
No,
the
of course
case.
not.
Okay.
I actually, so just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to tell you, everything that these space agencies tell you is to intentionally deceive you and to get you to believe a certain worldview that they have, that they want you to subscribe to. And this worldview is that the Earth is in infinite space and we are orbiting the sun, and the sun is orbiting the galaxy, and the galaxy is orbiting the great attractor, and so on and so forth. So it's to give you.
That's not what they're believing at all. The sun is in their model anyway. In the I guess the NASA world model is that the sun is stationary and does not move, and everything else, or our planetary system up until Pluto, but Pluto is no longer as a planet, but we'll count it up to there. Of what we can perceive at the moment with our technology, rotate around the sun itself, and all the planets do, and all the planets rotate around the sun and rotate on an axis themselves at various levels of timing across the board. Our planet has a satellite, which is what we know as the moon, other planets have more satellites, like Saturn has more, but our one has as one satellite that is the moon that is very close to us. And without it, we will not have certain things like how tides work. And obviously, but the moon
Wait,
is just a big rock that
yeah, let me
rotates
ask you
around the
this.
Earth.
So you said
Please.
the moon causes the tides, right?
Yes.
So in high tide, supposedly the moon is attracting all the water up.
I'll 100% admit I don't exactly understand how it works, but my knowledge
Okay.
of it is that it does have an effect.
So from what I understand, in high tide, the moon is supposed to be pulling all the water out, supposed to like kind of be pulling on the earth. So the moon's gravitational field is supposed to be affecting the tides on the globe, right? How come
Okay.
it doesn't affect anything else other than water?
I'm not sure, but I
Yeah,
don't know that it doesn't as well.
right.
And I
No,
think
I'm just
that's
saying if
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I completely
See,
agree.
but
It's
one
one
of
of
the
those things I'm not.
interesting, I guess one of the interesting things when you look at tides, and you said the word experiment before, Moog, or when we use telescopes and we look up into the stars and we can go, this is Jupiter and this is Saturn. And one of the reasons why I guess scientists are quite confident that these planets revolve around the sun is that they can make some fairly confident predictions that in 2 years' time, Mars is going to be once again aligned with Earth, and it's going to be the shortest distance to send spacecraft to Mars, and that
yeah,
something
that's true.
like Pluto is going to take 800 years, to get around its orbit before it's back in line with Earth again. But those, and then
I'm in complete agreement.
we have those models, and we can predict them, and those predictions are pretty accurate.
That is true. I'm not refuting any of that. In fact, the planets actually do orbit the sun, but the sun orbits the plane or Earth. So you have two different points of view. One, the sun is moving across the plane, and then the planets are what they call wandering stars. They're supposed to orbit around the sun, which in turn orbits the Earth.
So it's one of the reasons why, if the Earth is not the center of the universe, is that just something that throws our religious aspect out the window, and we can't handle that we're not special?
Yeah, it's more of a Newtonian worldview where everything's made of matter, and everything came about from the Big Bang, and everything evolved from primordial soup of life, and somehow all of these things came together, and our Earth is no special because there are so many other planets out there just like Earth, which can inhabit life. So that's what they want you to think, to think that we're not special and we're really tiny and insignificant and we don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But what Flat Earth is telling you is the complete opposite. It's saying actually the Earth is indeed the center of the universe. It's called geocentrism for a reason.
Okay. Can we talk about the sun and the movement of the sun on this model? Because I think I have an issue with it, and I'd love to hear your understanding of it. If the sun is as it is like there, so it's like I'm just looking at a couple of these models, and it just sort of circles around the Earth
every 24 hours.
Yeah. How does this model, in this model here, how do you explain seasonals or seasons itself? Because in this model here, the heat, I guess, is closest to the center of, I guess, the center, circle of the Earth, and then I guess like places like Australia and England technically should have very similar weather at the same time, but they don't. It's summer here right now in Australia, while in Europe it is, or England, let's say, it's winter. But on this model here, both places would be having the same weather patterns.
It actually depends on the path of the sun that it takes every the whole year. So one we have winter solstice, where the sun is actually closest. It's making the shortest circle around the center, and then we have the summer solstice, where it goes, it reaches the edge of the, makes the biggest circle here. So those would account for the seasons. In fact, I did show you an image last time, which showed you like the different orbits of the sun and how it causes seasons.
So
Can you bring that up?
like,
Yeah,
it
just a
almost
sec.
looks like a record then. Like, it gets wider and wider and wider.
Yeah, and then it comes shorter and shorter. Yeah.
Right. So if that's the case, then perfect example. Why is you've got this ice wall around the side? I think you discussed that sort of last time. Why does the ice wall stay the cold if the sun goes out more?
It doesn't go out all the way. It has to stop at one
Okay.
point, and where it stops giving the warmth. So you have to keep in mind that there is a dome here. All of this is enclosed inside the dome.
Okay.
So my question,
the sun, it's a closed system. The sun isn't going anywhere outside. So it's just
how do you get to a level of evidence
Yeah.
that you are confident in these predictions?
Hello, I'm sorry, I lost you there.
Oh, sorry. So how are you confident in these predictions? It's
not really.
I guess what are you observing?
Really
What's being observed?
So I think we have to understand like different points of view and perspective, right? So let's say Einstein's relativity, what it says is you can have two different points of reference, right? So both, you can say the Earth being stationary is a reference point, and the rest of the world is moving relative to it. Or you could say the sun is stationary and the rest of everything else around it is moving. So these are just two different points of views that we can take. We don't know. We're trying to get at which is the closest to the truth, right? So both of these points are valid. You can definitely say the Earth being the globe and all of that makes sense as a mathematical model, only because that of only with the reference point that the sun is stationary and the rest of everything is moving. But if you just
I don't know if we lost him there, but if I can, while it's sort of loading there, Amog, my another question is, how do you compensate, or how do you explain the phenomenon that is a when the moon covers up the sun, a total eclipse, and the other kind of eclipse where the sun looks like it's going behind the moon and going in front of the moon. Both of those items there, sort of on a flat Earth model, if we don't know the height of both of those, how does that work?
I think we've lost a Moog.
I think we have lost a Moog. A Moog, if you're there, but here we go. It's all right. Hopefully he comes back on. Hopefully he logs back in and shows us some more. But we've got a few questions.
Sounds like the internet was cutting out just then.
Just a little bit there. I think the conspiracy theorists, I've got him here. But Rodongo has here said, I object to animals being perfectly designed. Have you seen the platybolendo? I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know what that is.
Might be but we look it up for us, Kieran. You can do that while I keep reading some of these comments.
Yeah.
Damien here says the flat Earth provide evidence that the edge of the Earth has been visited, and show that naysayers beyond reasonable doubt there is proof. And I'm not quite sure. Here we go. Yeah, press F to pay respects. Rodongo, absolutely right. And he thinks some serious researcher would visit Africa. I'm just joining Rodongo back onto the stream, so it's very exciting to have him back. And
it's like some kind of elephant dinosaur.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Moog's back.
Hey guys, sorry I lost connection.
We do have him back.
That's all right. We filled in some airtime.
Absolutely.
And we lost him.
Nope.
Here we got him.
I'm telling you now, this I gotta get a better computer.
No, I don't. I think it might be some. It sounds like they need NBN in India.
We need something like that. Oh, that's a cool.
Not Australian NBN though.
No, don't get that. I'm gonna see if I can reset as well. I will be back, Kieran. I'll hold the show.
Well, hello everybody. Let me give you a story, tell a yarn, etc., etc. I'm not going to lie. I am nursing a pretty big hangover today. Church's engagement party was yesterday. Fun was had by all, and I'm quite proud of the groomsmen who held their own at the engagement party. Welcome back,
Moog, we're back. My apologies, we had some technical issues on our end. It's always fun when you do this sort of stuff, but thank you so much for holding on the line. You were talking about the sun and the moon. That's where we were at. I think from memory there, Kieran, is that right, Moog?
Yeah, sun and the moon.
Right. So just to recap this, you can say that the sun is stationary, and then you can say the earth is moving around us, or you can say, well, the earth might be stationary and the sun and the rest of the stars are moving. So both points are valid. I'm just here to present the point of view where we say that the earth is indeed the center of the universe, and it is flat and stationary, and the rest of the stars are moving.
But couldn't I make the argument, which is people want me to believe in religion and that we are special, and so that's why they put this point of view across?
That's a wonderful question. So you should ask that for yourself and actually find that out, right? So you should probably dig deeper. Yeah, I mean, obviously there is an element of religious programming here. And a lot of flat earthers are actually just Bible worshippers, and they always push that stuff onto you. I'm not coming from any of that. I don't care if we're special or not. I just want to put the end on the debate whether the earth is flat or not. Because I'm all about the science and the facts, right? I just want to look at the data and I want to see if it checks out. That's it.
I do have a question here. This one here. So all the planets. So from your knowledge and your understanding of the universe, are any of the other planets, including the sun and our moon, actually a globe, or are they also two-dimensional, like flat in shape?
Right. That's a question everyone asks me whenever I tell them I believe the Earth is flat. They just imagine that, they imagine a heliocentric model, but they imagine the Earth to be flat and the rest of the planets are actually like spheres. So then it makes it seem like the Earth is the only planet that's flat and all the other planets are globes. So that sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that's not true. What I think is Earth is not a planet. It is a plane, right? So it is the entire universe itself. So these planets are actually just balls of light that we see in the sky, and I can show you video footage here if you mind.
Absolutely, I'm adding you to the stream
if you don't mind.
now. Absolutely, everything's working a little bit nicer now.
Okay, so this is P1000 footage of the planet Mars, right? I want you to have a look at this with an open mind. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can turn on the, yep.
This is the Mars Nikon P1000 footage.
Oh God. Oh God, I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Oh, anyway, while this loads, I can see. So out into the night sky, and they're filming the. So we recently had SpaceX supposedly launch a freaking robot onto Mars, and apparently it landed perfectly fine, and they're able to. I want to watch this video and actually think that what you see on the screen, or it's flickering, looks like water. Screen. So give me a question. It goes back up.
I'm not gonna lie, it's just cut in and out, and I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, it
Church,
looks like
please
some
explain.
footage is coming up now.
All right, beautiful.
Here we go.
So what are we watching here? What's this?
So this is Mars, the planet Mars, and keep in mind the word planet comes from wandering stars. So that's what we're looking at from the
plane.
No, you can't really look at it. Do you think that's something you can land on? That's what I'm trying to ask you guys. Does that look solid and firm to you, like our Earth?
Well, where's this footage coming from?
Or does it look like it's wobbling and it's just like? This is coming from Nikon P1000. This is the camera with the highest zoom that you have.
Yeah, so is this coming from Earth?
So some people say this. Yeah, this is coming from Earth. This is coming from someone who filmed it from their balcony.
Of course, if you're looking at it from bloody Earth.
So yeah, this is
going to be able to determine whether you can land on it or not.
No, but I'm saying, look at what you're seeing. Does that look like it's solid to you? Does that look?
Well, we had a conversation before about whether the cameras were actually appropriate to determine this kind of this knowledge or not.
Right, but I'm just saying, do you have any semblance of trust in what you experience or what your eyes actually tell you or what you feel? What does your intuition tell you? Do you have any, or do you just, say none of that matters and you just believe what the authorities want you to believe?
Well,
which one is it? Because I come from.
I've seen other video clips and footage of Mars, which looks nothing like that.
So yeah, so
right, different cameras.
You're right. So
anyway, you can do this by yourself.
I've got a question. Why?
Yeah.
So through this lens, why do you think it's wobbling?
I don't know. I just think it's a ball of pulsating energy. To me, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like an actual terra firma thing that you can land on.
Okay, so
to me, it looks like a ball of pulsating light, and that's what the ancients thought too.
So Mars and other planets aren't real; they're just balls of energy.
Right. We don't know. I mean, maybe if we actually had the technology to go there, maybe it magically appear to be, solid, but it doesn't seem like it, and it doesn't seem like we're going to have that kind of technology anyway.
So why? But we do have the technology. So why don't you trust the technology, or why don't you trust SpaceX, or Amazon?
I was coming to that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So we had the latest Mars Perseverance rover. I'm pretty sure you saw this all over the news.
Yeah.
Where they were showing people how, we actually went and landed on the Mars, and then they're able to communicate with these robots millions of miles away, supposedly, over the internet.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just saying, I just don't get how that works. Like,
Okay,
where is the
so
reception
the
that they
reason-
have in Mars or whatever?
Perfect. The reason why internet gets delayed here through wireless sort of stuff is that we've got lots of other things within the atmosphere space that interferes with frequency transmission. In space, there is none of that. So if you send out a signal strong enough through our atmosphere into space, there's nothing to really interfere that to
But what
the
about
place
all
you're sending
the,
it
you
to.
know, debris and space debris and all of the other stuff that's supposedly out there?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be
Even
kind of, you know, blocking some of it or like absorbing
absolutely.
some of the radiation?
Well, there's no radiation through transmission of signals, but even through that aspect of it, we are still able to do that because of how we are able to line up certain things with the Earth.
Well, we're able to do it with all the junk on Earth.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, for a moment, let's assume we actually landed on Mars.
Okay.
And this is the image that they give you here on the left. And this is an image of Devon Island on the right. Now, tell me, doesn't that look like just a red filter applied on Devon Island?
It could
Quick
also
question,
be
What
though.
if?
It could also be the other
Like-
way around. I mean, I could put a filter on the Mars one and make it look like Devon Island.
Whose YouTube channel is this?
Touche. So this is a YouTube channel for Eric Dubay.
Yeah.
He is, you know, he's been waking people up for a while now about the flat Earth reality, and you should totally check him out and, you know, look for yourself. So anyway,
So, but why
I
don't
have,
why don't you pull up NASA or SpaceX, like their footage, and
yeah,
start
I
pulling
was
that apart?
just gonna. So in 2003, what happened was NASA, from their Mars Curiosity, released these photos of supposedly Mars from space, okay? And what they found was a ground squirrel somewhere in Mars or on Mars. Now tell me, does that make any sense?
This is an official press release. This is
Yeah,
just
this is
just someone writing an
space.com.
article.
No, this is space.com doing damage control because people on the internet were, you know, being skeptical about the Curiosity mission. So here you can clearly see that there is indeed, in these photos, you can see that this image credit is NASA Caltech.
Okay.
You can see that somewhere here there was this ground squirrel that was caught in the image. Now, isn't that interesting?
Let's scroll down there. I just want to read the rest of that image.
Yeah, you know what they want you to think? They want you to think it's pareidolia or pareidolia. So they want you to think it's the tendency of the human brain to perceive animals in vague or random images.
Yeah, that's a pretty common phenomenon. We do it all the time here on Earth, from people's looking at faces in rocks. To, you know, we even do that on the other thing in Mars.
Right. So just see, just as an enlarged image that you can see.
But we can't.
Right. I want you to actually.
This is what happened last
trust
time.
Your senses.
You haven't been able to grab something from like actual NASA or SpaceX actual official accounts and show us from that.
Okay.
The amount of manipulation.
Let me show you this. If you don't think
putting stuff up on the internet,
that's easy. If you go to the NASA website, find that picture, and we zoom in.
I hear you.
At ourselves.
No, I can do you one better.
Okay, perfect. That's what we like to hear.
I can do you one better. Last time, you guys told me that you would believe me if I did the Photoshop effect by myself. So I actually did do it by myself. So let me show you Earth from space, NASA. So if this is actually a real photo of Earth that you believe, it's from NASA. Let's put it to the test, shall we?
As long as it's not a JPEG, because JPEG will naturally, in any sort of image, even if you create an image yourself right now, will have natural distortion. So you need to find an image that is not a JPEG.
Okay, I hear you. This is a JPG file.
Okay, a JPEG file will have natural
And
distortion.
this is actually from, okay, that's fine. But I just want you to, see this out, okay? This is this is from moon.nasa.gov, this image.
Okay.
And I can go to exposure here and turn it up. And doesn't that look like it's copy pasted to you? Doesn't that look like there's some sort of effects that's being done?
No, that is JPEG distortion. That's one. Please put up the YouTube JPEG distortion. That's exactly that. In fact,
okay.
let's do a test. Let's do a test right now. Create a new document. Create a new document in this program right now.
Yeah, I have one right here.
Perfect. And
the thing, you just need to grab.
I have another image.
Random photo.
Make the background black. Make a new image. Put the background all black, and you yourself put a round circle that could be any color you like, as long as it's not black, on the screen, and do the same filter thing. And I guarantee you, we will see the same type of distortion across the board, because that is image distortion created through the JPEG file type.
Right, I didn't get that. What did you want me to do? So this one, this is also a JPEG image, and I captured this from a screenshot from one of those high altitude balloon footages. So I wanted to see if this. I understand where you're coming from, where you say there is JPEG distortion, and I did the same thing for this one. Let's see where that is. Oh, I wonder why that's not coming up. Why isn't the Explorer coming in?
I think levels is what you're looking at, but that's it. Yeah. I'm going to continue to say
this is another photo of supposedly.
It's coming in, if you can, and you can see it in the actual image itself. Nothing is. It's all coming in as pixelated JPEG distortion, because you've overexposed the photo to the point of ludicrousy.
Yeah. And is this what you mean?
Yes.
This is what you mean, right?
So let's go back. So can we do a
this?
Test
this is a normal photo that I took from. Yeah, this is a normal photo. This is supposedly unedited photo. Okay, that I captured from one of those high altitude balloons.
But if you just grab a photo of something that you believe is true, like a tree, and JPEG, and put it in, you're going to get the distortion.
Sure.
That's what we're saying, and we can even do that even if you get a black background. You can.
Yeah, that's what I hear. This is what I believe.
And a circle in the middle with white or yellow, and do the same exposure thing. You will get the same distortion on stream.
Right. I'm not refuting that. I'm just saying maybe that possibly, apart from the JPEG, it's just
evidence. Then your evidence
like
this
because there's
the exposure is useless.
There's a box around the Earth there. When you change the exposures here, it might just be copy pasted.
But you can't tell that by using this methodology.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is proof of anything. I'm not giving you this as evidence of anything. I'm just saying maybe you can consider the fact that NASA has been photoshopping these images.
Yeah, but so would people.
Okay, and I have another clip.
And people who have uploaded birthday parties, and like it's the same logic for all these other photos that you could just do this to, and you'd get the same distortion. It's not clear to me how you can just ignore this. If you could pull photos that you believed are absolutely true, and you didn't get this, this effect. And I mean, take a photo of the moon yourself or the stars and upload it, and you'll still get.
Yeah, that's what I try to do there.
Yeah, and you'll get the same effect. Anyway, we've got some more questions coming in, which I think will be interesting to get to in a
We
moment.
certainly do. We've got here comment. We've got it from Cardi.
I hear
K
you.
Anand.
There is
Hey,
definitely
hello.
that side of the argument where you can say it's just a distortion.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Cardi K is asked, how did you have this awakening? So this was I remember you saying while you're getting up a picture of the tree, and we could try the same sort of image manipulation. You had this awakening a couple of years ago, wasn't it? And you've actually studied engineering from memory, or is that right?
Yeah, that is right. So as I said, I come from a scientific perspective only. I'm not here. I'm sorry?
And you also believe that there's not that there's no moon, but the moon is not round, or it's just another plane. Is that right?
No, I'm sorry. The moon is exactly what. How can you say the moon is not round? I don't understand. You can see it with your own eyes. I'm not saying the moon is round.
Is the moon a sphere?
I don't know what the moon is. We're not talking about that, are we?
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe, possibly. Okay. But that's like an argument that says, just because all the balls on the round, the ball also has the table also has to be round.
Okay.
So there's a fallacy there.
I just want to
because most people tell me all the planets around the Earth should also be round.
Okay.
I just want to take us off a slight change of direction, because there's a question from Damien early on, which is, can you provide evidence that the edge of the Earth has been visited, and show the naysayers doubt, or the naysayers that reasonable doubt that there is proof? So where is
actually,
this edge of the Earth?
Something called the Antarctic Treaty. Yeah.
Are you talking about the Antarctic Treaty?
I think we got some delay in the internet connection.
I think
that everyone tells me that edge of the Earth. See, there is something called Antarctic Treaty, which is formed by all the countries, which bans anyone.
Have you read it?
Yeah. So there was this man, an explorer, who wanted to go to the edge of the world, and he was sent back because nobody's allowed to independently explore Antarctica. I wonder why that nobody is allowed to go to Antarctica and do your own experiments, and why it's so controlled, and why they don't have a look at it.
Incorrect. The reason why the Antarctic Treaty was the reason why the Antarctic Treaty was the reason why the Antarctic Treaty was put there was that no single nation could control it to have a military base there of any kind like that. So it is an internationally owned piece of land, just like the one in the northern hemisphere, the Antarctic in the southern hemisphere. Yeah, it doesn't stop you from entering it. It just means you can't put military bases because it's neutral territory. Exactly what I just said, Reb. Thank you very much. You can still explore it. There are people that.
But then why can't we do any independent exploration?
Well, tourists go there all the time.
You just need permission.
You can. You can only go on cruise ships which have a pre-dedicated path. You can't go and do your own experiments there.
You can't fly there, if that's what you mean. You can't land a plane on ice.
I'm sure if you had enough money, you could just go there and do it. If you had the resources, I don't think there's anything
they go to the Antarctic all the time and do tests. There's a base in Australia. They leave from, I think, from South Australia or Western Australia and go there.
And there's lots of footage of the ice wall from Antarctica.
Ice wall.
Yeah. The so-called edge of the world.
Let's see how tall is the ice wall? How tall is the ice wall itself?
I'm not sure, but probably like. Well, I don't have a number to give you.
It'd have to be shorter than how high the sun is, right?
Yeah. It's about, let's say, I'd say around 30,000 feet, maybe more. I don't know.
Okay, so technically we can get a balloon and put it pretty close to the ice wall.
Actually, there's land beyond the ice wall. There's more land.
What? Why? How can there be
It
more
still doesn't
land?
stop a balloon.
Let me show you.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Please.
let me show you. Let me show you an interview from one of the greatest explorers of all time. His name is Admiral Richard E. Byrd, and this is what he had to say back in the, I forget the date, but this is a public TV show that was aired, and this is what he had to say about land beyond the South Pole.
If it doesn't load, I'll see if I can get it up. Maybe
I'm just gonna skip this part.
I think send it to Church to see if Church can play it.
Yeah, that might be one of those videos that people have to listen to in their own times. Maybe we'll definitely put in the link in the description. But can you give us a quick summary, maybe, of what he has stated in this interview here?
I'll just send you the link.
Yeah, that might be something that we can watch later on in time, just all that sort of stuff. But
so in the interview, he basically states that approximately the size of the United States is right. I was saying he basically states that there is a land the size of the United States beyond the South Pole that nobody has explored.
But that still means there has to be an edge, right? Which means we can just put up a balloon. Because it's interesting, the video which you showed me before, was that the edge? I'm not sure, Church, are you with me? Hello, people in YouTube land. I think it's frozen again.
It might have been frozen again. We've just got a few here. I've met a few. Redongo, said I've met a few people who are engineers in Scott Basin and one mentioned the ice wall. Kartalake Anantes Hasna Ban Kamot, which what I see here, I've just tried to translate it, just means don't laugh. Very unprofessional. And this and Siddhartha Manjunath, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, my apologies. But this guy with the fake accent, glorifying lies and claims to which there are no actual proofs, follow random YouTube channels and philosophers who are just making money, videos for money, and claim others are blind. Same sort of thing. BSNL internet. I'm assuming that's the type of internet in India over there where he is. Back and forth there. Yeah, lots of technical issues today. My apologies, live audience. We are trying our very best here. The Australian
thanks for following along.
Just as bad. Yeah. There's been a lot of discussions today. A lot of stuff coming out today. Hopefully we get a Moog back. Looks like he's running around, but I just can't hear. I'm going to try and see if turn him off mute. It looks like he's okay. There's no mic connected at the moment for him, so we're just waiting for him to come back. But Kieran, what's something you've taken away from this so far? About the show.
Oh, look, I think you got to understand what evidence is.
It seems like
I can show you some evidence.
Oh,
please.
good.
Yeah, you're back. Excellent.
You're back. Excellent.
Here we go.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the world record for longest microwave link distance. Okay, what does that mean? That means these guys were able to transmit a signal 235 kilometers over water. Okay, now let's put that into the Earth curve calculator. If I could just find that. Okay, let's say eye height is actually 0 and 235 miles.
Well,
The horizon should be hidden by 36,795 feet. And what does a microwave have to do with that? Well, it uses line of sight technology, and there absolutely has to be no obstacles in between the two links. So this clearly proves that the Earth is flat because they were able to do this with the span of 235 kilometers with 1 Gbps service.
so are you telling me?
What do you have to say about that?
So in this case here, gravity has no effect on microwave.
I'm sorry. What? I don't think there's ever been any demonstrated proof of gravity affecting radiation. I'm not sure if that. Also, there is no.
Microwave and radiation are two different things, but that's okay. Let's continue on with that train of logic. So
No, it's not.
Oh yes.
Everything that's
it's a subset, but it's not the same thing. That's radiation is a very broad and vast thing. Microwave is a certain type of frequency transmission that we're talking about here. And if that's
right, and what's radiation?
Then you prove it's a very, like I said, it's a very broad understanding of multiple different things, different kinds of wavelengths within radiation itself.
Right. So are you familiar with line of sight?
Microwave is a very certain type potentially of radiation, but it's a different type of wavelength that we can send out through technology itself. And I don't have enough understanding of microwave in that sort of sense that if it does have
are you familiar with line of sight?
Isn't microwave active, my dude? Exactly right. It's not, it's a completely different type of waveform that we can create. You're talking about two different things and conflating both of them in the same sentence.
No, all I'm trying to demonstrate here is that line of sight cannot be possible with an object in between it. There has to be absolutely a clear path between the two transmitting towers. So if the Earth was actually curved with the numbers that they give you, you should have 36,000 feet blocking this microwave signal transmission, which is not the case. And that's just one proof for you to take away, which without a shadow of doubt proves that we do indeed live on a flat Earth. And there's so much more of these. I can talk about this all day. Okay, and we can see now some experiments.
You gotta go. Can you go back because I've lost train of thought here.
Can you just go back? Can you just type into Google? Is microwaves affected by gravity? And let's just see the answer. Because I'm just Googling it very quickly now, and it's saying yes. Can gravity affect radio waves, radar, or Wi-Fi signal? Radio waves are part of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Okay, can you just...
which include a whole bunch of this and that. Microwaves, gamma rays, and the quantum photons. Photons don't have mass, but they do have energy. General relativity describes gravity is the effect of curved space-time on moving particles. Energy is moving particles. So yes, gravity waves are affected by gravity. Radio waves are affected by gravity the same way as light is affected. The only difference is light is visible. So yes, across the board, gravity is affected by radio waves, including microwaves.
So wait,
which is what it is affected
let me ask you
by
this.
Gravity.
Okay, let me ask you this. So you believe that gravity is actually pulling the microwave radiation all over to the, and it's following the curvature, and it's somehow appearing on the other side. Is that right?
Yeah, because it's pulling towards the center of the round Earth. So, and that's why it affects everything the same.
Okay, what about the obstacle? What about the curvature of the Earth? Wouldn't that be blocking the radiation?
No,
or the microwave?
Down, and if you're shooting it and it's going like straight, it's still going straight, but it's always being pushed down around the curvature of the Earth. And we're talking about, what, 235 miles? I don't even think you're going to get that much of a drop.
No, the drop is 36,000 feet.
36,000 feet over 235 miles.
Yeah, that's a lot. So if there was a tower here and there were a tower here, you're trying to tell me that it's actually gravity that's pulling the signal like this and it's going to the other side.
It's not going. It's not going flat. It's not going flat. It'll be the same curvature as what the Earth is.
The alleged curvature.
Yes. So
which two towers? What towers? Give me a bit more of a concrete example.
So this can give you
theoretical here. Give me two examples of some actual towers that aren't working or that are working between that distance sending information.
No, that's okay. You already refuted that that proof by saying it's gravity, and I can I'll give you that one. Let's say gravity. First of all, nobody even knows what gravity is, and let's say it's a thing and it's real, and it's actually pulling.
But it's consistent. That's the big thing that you're not looking at it here. We may not know exactly what it is, let's just say, but we know that it's consistent everywhere on Earth. So if I drop something from a height here, it'll accelerate down to Earth at the exact same speed as if I was in your country or in America. And because we've got that consistency, we can use that as a reference across the board. That's something I physically observe. And that's something we can physically absolutely measure. And you talk about these things that we can physically see in this, that, yes, we may not know why there is the force there, but I think we kind of do because it's.
Let me ask you this:
always, it is consistent across the board.
I'm just interested, Amug, that you're able to bring in some theoretical mathematical explanations, but are very dismissive of other theoretical mathematical explorations.
I agreed.
Yeah.
No, I am open. If you say gravity is actually pulling that in, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, then. So on a flat Earth model, why do things fall down to the ground without saying buoyancy and density? Because those are only there because of what gravity does.
I'm not denying gravity. Gravity is very real.
So why, if we were on the other side of the Earth, that's flat, would we still have gravity the other way, or would we just fall off?
No, there is no falling off. Gravity works the same everywhere on the Earth, except maybe the equators, I guess.
Why doesn't it work?
Where is the equator on a flat Earth?
I don't remember. I remember reading that or studying that in school because of the bulge or something. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I don't know what gravity is, so nobody can really say much about it. But what I can tell you is give you more evidence that the Earth is actually demonstrably, experimentally flat. And you can go out here and do this for yourself, right? You can actually do the little mathematics of the globe, and you can actually test this out and see for yourself if it's flat or not.
I think that's the big thing. A lot of these things that you're discussing, we have mathematical proofs that are consistent across any place on Earth. And I think one of the things that most people have a trouble with the flat Earth model is that a lot of these things that should be consistent across the board on any place on Earth are not consistent on a flat Earth model. And it's exactly right. Something like the Umar here has said, can you explain how lunar eclipses happen in a flat Earth model? And that actually doesn't agree with the model that you've presented across the board here. And the same.
No, I can explain that.
Okay.
So people actually think that a lunar eclipse is the shadow of the Earth being projected on the moon. And then since you can see the curvature, that's supposedly proof that the Earth is actually flat. I mean, the Earth is actually spherical. Well, I hear ya. What about this? We have recorded hundreds of lunar eclipses where the sun and moon are both up high in the sky. And it's called a selenelion. You can look that up. A selenelion happens when both the sun and moon are above the horizon, but they're supposed to be in exactly 180 degrees syzygy for it to work on your globe model.
Yep. How's
if
it work
anything,
on Earth model?
well, on a flat Earth, new moons only lunar eclipses happen only on a new moon. When the moon and Earth, when the moon and sun are exactly aligned. I have a video that I can link you, which really explains everything. Here, just a sec. I can link all of these videos. See, the thing is, people like to, people like to, just go off with what the authority figures have told them and what they've been conditioned their entire life. People aren't willing to do the research and digging into what it actually is, right? So when you come to the Selenelian, it doesn't work on the globe Earth. So how do you explain that?
Sorry, does this apply to the...
I'm sorry?
Because you say that there's governments and etc. that have conditioned us and make us believe certain aspects. Is that the same, I guess, for like the weather? Because the government basically is the weather people go, look, it's probably going to rain tomorrow. It's likely going to rain tomorrow, and they put out. Do you believe the government in their weather reports? Or is it just sort of you believe some institutions, not all institutions?
No, everyone's in on this. You see, everything we know about the world is simply a lie, because we have been conditioned before we could make up our own minds and before we could, make up our own thoughts.
So this goes beyond the flat Earth.
No, obviously, flat Earth actually uncovers all the other conspiracies on how these elite bunch of bankers have been controlling the world this whole time, but now we're going through what's called the Great Reset, right? So there's a massive awakening happening right now where people are actually waking up to the truth. People are actually awakening to the reality of what is, right? And flat Earth is one aspect of this. And soon enough, see, I think most of you people here only believe the Earth is a globe because everyone else believes it. That's the only reason most people, go, and because we're conditioned. But what if most people in the future, they're actually going to come to the conclusion that the Earth is actually flat? What happens then? Are you just going to believe them because they're in majority, or are you going to do your research? Are you actually going to find out for yourself? All right. Anyway, we're going off topic here. I can give you more proofs and evidences.
I think more than anything else, the shape of the Earth, realistically, I still don't understand the connection between the shape of the Earth and the control of the masses. Realistically, the shape of the Earth doesn't... I don't understand how the lie of telling us that either the Earth is round or Earth is flat, or whichever one is real, how any of this actually helps any of these elite type people control us in any way.
Well, it's just simply control of information, right? You believe that you...
If that's the case, then how is all this opposing information come to light if they've got such a strong control over 99.999%?
Yeah, that's because the truth can never be hidden. As much as you want, the truth always gets out. That's why. You have all of this conditioning that says otherwise, but there's actually a bunch of people here actually trying to say, hey, maybe we should look at this thing again. Maybe we should reevaluate our belief systems and what we've been conditioned and actually have a look at this with an open mind, right? And when you go down that road, there's only one inevitable conclusion. And that is indeed that the Earth below is flat and stationary. And I can prove it.
I just find it amazing that every government's in on this.
Yeah, it's me. Okay, look,
it's not just the government. It goes more than that. It goes much deeper.
I don't want to hold you up anymore. I think we've got time for maybe one more piece of evidence. We'll go through that and then we'll wrap this one up because it's getting a bit late here in sunny in the non-existent country apparently of Australia.
or the Democratic Socialist something Victoria.
And I can't let anybody, so let's exactly right. So one last piece, top notch of thing. Leave us with something to go and research and learn.
Leave us with the bang.
Leave us with a banger.
Okay. I think the banger is Aries failure, which actually proves that we are stationary and we're not moving.
Okay.
So basically what this guy did was he filled the telescope with water, so it slows the speed of the light down. And if the ground underneath was moving, he would have to tilt the telescope in order to receive the starlight. Okay, and this is a famous experiment. It's called Aries failure. It's called a failure because he failed to have any sort of tilt in the microscope. He didn't have to tilt the microscope because the starlight was coming through the telescope just as it was. And that proves that the Earth is actually stationary and the stars are actually moving above us. You can look this up.
So he filled up a telescope somehow with water. And with that,
I can link you this video. He explains it much better than I do.
Okay, but having the water in there didn't affect the clarity of the thing he was trying to look at.
We're not looking at the clarity. We're just trying to slow down the speed of light because water is a denser medium.
So water
I don't get how you get to that conclusion.
Yeah, so water can slow down the speed of light.
Why is it a 5%?
Right. See, because the ground underneath is moving. I feel like you have to watch this video in order to really understand it, and then maybe you have like a basis for why you should believe in this experiment.
Okay.
I can link, and there's another thing where the U.S. Navy it has a railgun that shoots over 100 nautical miles. Okay, it's a railgun that shoots like a bullet over 100 nautical miles, and it tracks its target by using lasers. My question is, if the Earth is actually a globe with the numbers that they give you, with a radius of around 3,959 miles and a circumference of 25,000 miles, how is it possible for a railgun to shoot straight across 100 miles without encountering any sort of curvature or bulge?
I think more than anything else, we go back to that microwave discussion where even light is actually affected in some ways by gravity.
We're talking about like a heavy bullet, a heavy duty bullet here.
Oh, if that's the case, then yes, a bullet would absolutely. I mean, that's what snipers do. They adjust for these things when they make a shot.
Right. Okay. And you believe that we are in space right now, right? The Earth, actually.
Say that again. Sorry.
No, I'm asking you if you believe that the Earth is suspended in space right now, along with the other planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess suspension is something we can say.
Okay. So you believe that everywhere around the Earth, there's the vacuum of space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you believe that the Earth is enclosed by the vacuum of space, but somehow we have here a pressurized environment, why isn't the vacuum of space ripping apart our atmosphere?
Because there's an atmosphere?
Yeah, why is that? No, I'm just saying, if we are next to space with absolutely no sort of enclosure, why isn't the vacuum of space ripping all of our?
But why?
You know, why?
But why is the assumption it has to rip it apart?
Because if you have something next to vacuum, it will absorb it. It's like you know those movies when they say when you go up really into space and then their hatch breaks and then their window breaks and everything's sucked out into space.
But that's
because it's a vacuum. So why isn't the atmosphere of the Earth being sucked out?
Because it's the weight of it and the effect that gravity has on it allows these things to stay within the confines of Earth. The same reason why as soon as a meteor comes in, it gets sucked in because of the, when it gets closer to Earth, it pulls towards Earth. And that's, even if it's not in the direct line of fire, the Earth itself has enough pulling power to pull it down into the atmosphere, pulling it down.
So Amorg, if there's not, it sounds like you don't believe that there's an atmosphere. So what is there? Is there a dome like that's over the top of
No,
us?
I think it would be more rational to believe that there is some sort of enclosure between the vacuum of space and the Earth, which is the dome.
And how high is that dome?
We don't know. Probably like really high. I don't know.
So does the dome have the sun in it?
All of this is speculation, by the way. This isn't proof of any sort, and this doesn't add credence to the fact that the Earth is flat. I'm just saying maybe it's possible that we live in an enclosed system.
Possibly. Look, Amorg, you've given us so much to think about, so much to learn. I will put all the videos in the description of this video and onto our podcast as well. So
I can send you the links of all
of
them. Amazing. Send it via our email address and all that sort of stuff. Amorg, where can people find more out about you? I know you do run a flat podcast. Plug your podcast so more people can find you.
Yeah, my podcast is called Flat Earth Research. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, or whatever, actually. And yeah, hopefully I'll upload new episodes where you can have bite-sized proofs.
That would be awesome, man. That'd be awesome, man. And look, for all the other people, thank you so much for everybody in the chat there. It looks like you guys had a lot of fun as well. We learned a lot, lots of things, both debunking both ways. So that's always good to hear. But if you'd like to find a bit more about us, about the We Only Do One Take podcast, make sure you follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and obviously on YouTube here. Make sure you subscribe and give this a like, and hopefully we can do more of these discussions with a whole bunch of fantastic people. And if you'd like to send us some hate mail, a death threat, or a rant, or if you've got more questions,
if you want to send me also, welcome.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of those.
Hey, Amorg, you are good fun, and I'm looking forward to coming over to India and having a beer with you one day.
It's going to be great.
Thanks, man. Thanks for entertaining this. It's really great that you're even open to this idea,
No, look, it's so interesting to have interesting people like yourself on our show. We love it. Looks like our fans love it too. So let's do more of this in the future. And ladies and gentlemen, I know it is a Sunday, but we will see you all next Thursday. Thank you so much. We will leave it there. See you all.
Goodbye.
Bye.